Friends, in this video, we will see the structures of male reproductive system. First structure is epididymis. It is a single, narrow, tightly coiled tube in an adult male. It has a length of about 6 to 7 meters, that is 20 to 23 feet. It connects different ducts from the rear of each testicle to its vas deferens. It consists of a single heavily coiled duct, as we have seen. It can be divided into three parts. The epididymis can be divided into three parts: head, body, and tail. The first part is head, the most proximal part of the epididymis. It is formed by efferent tubules of testis which transport sperm from testis to the epididymis. The body is formed by heavily coiled duct of epididymis. The tail, the most distal part of epididymis, it marks the origin of vas deferens which transport the sperm to the prostatic portion of urethra for ejaculation. This picture shows you the three anatomical part of epididymis. This green colored structure is the epididymis. The proximal part is head of epididymis, the middle part is body, and the distal part is tail of epididymis. Then this is the efferent ductules. So the head of the epididymis is connected to the testicle via efferent ductules. The sperm is formed here, as we have seen yesterday in the previous video. The sperm is formed in the seminiferous tubules that will be transported to epididymis via efferent ductules. So this acts as the connection between the head of epididymis, and the middle portion is the body of epididymis. It is a single coiled tubule. Then next comes the last portion comes the tail of epididymis, and from the tail the muscular duct called vas deferens starts. Again, the epididymis has two distinct components: the efferent ductules, which form an enlarged coiled mass that sit on the posterior superior pole of testis and form the head of epididymis. The efferent ductule form an enlarged coiled mass, and that is called as the head of epididymis, which is seen on the posterior superior pole of testis. The second component is the true epididymis. It is a single long coiled duct into which efferent ductules all drain. It continues inferiorly along the posterior lateral margin of testis as the body of epididymis and enlarged to form the tail of the structure at the inferior pole of testis. The remaining part of epididymis is called a true epididymis. It is a single long coiled duct. All the different ductules drain into this single coiled duct. Then it continues as body of epididymis and it enlarged to form the tail at the inferior pole of testis. About the arterial supply of the epididymis, it is via testicular artery. About the venous drainage, the testicular vein emerges from the testis and the epididymis as a venous network. Already we know the name of the network is Pambiniform plexus. This reduced to a single vein as it ascends through the inguinal canal. Then the right testicular vein drains into inferior vena cava and the left vein joins with the left renal vein. Here you can see this is the Pambiniform plexus. Like that there is another plexus on the other side as well. Then this Pambiniform plexus continues as the single vein. On the right side it is called a right testicular vein and the left side it is called a left testicular vein. The right testicular vein drain into inferior vena cava and the left one drain into left renal vein. About the lymphatic drainage of testis, it is into para-aortic lymph nodes. The lymphatic drainage of testis and epididymis is the same. It is into para-aortic lymph nodes. Then the next structure in the male reproductive system is ductus deferens. It is a Latin word. It means carrying away vessel. It is also called a vas deferens. It is a long muscular duct. It transports spermatozoa from the tail of epidermis to the ejaculatory duct. This is the testicle. This is the epidermis situated on the testicle, and this is the tail of epidermis, and here from here the ejaculatory duct begins. Then it continues and finally it joins with a duct from seminal vesicle and form the ejaculatory duct. Coming to the cause of ductus deferens, the vas deferens or the ductus deferens arises from the tail of epidermis we already saw in the picture, and it goes up to the inguinal canal, turns medially and crosses the ureter posterior to the bladder. It arises from the tail of vas deferens. This is vas deferens. This is its tail. It arises from here. Then it goes up through the inguinal canal. Then turn medially, posterior to the bladder, behind the ureter. Then it continues at the base of the bladder and join with the duct from seminal vesicle. This is the seminal vesicle and this is its duct. This is the vas deferens. So both the duct from seminal vesicle and vas deferens and form the ejaculatory duct. That is the cause of vas. The terminal part of vas deferens is dilated to form the ampulla of vas deferens. In this image you can see this is the vas deferens. The terminal part, the most distal part before it joins with the seminal vesicle, the duct of seminal vesicle, it gets dilated and that portion is called the ampulla of vas deferens. Then the ejaculatory duct penetrates through the prostate gland to connect with the prostatic urethra. This is the prostate gland. This comes down and joins with the prostatic part of urethra. Next structure, it is not asked in your syllabus, but just mentioning about the another structure of male reproductive system, that is seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicles are accessory gland of the male reproductive system. They are two lobulated organ about 5 cm long lying on the posterior surface of bladder. This is the bladder and this is its posterior surface. It lies on the posterior surface of bladder on either side. This is the seminal vesicle. This is the full view and this is the cross-section view of seminal vesicle. And this is the vas deferens, and here you can see the dilated portion of vas deferens called as the ampulla. The vas deferens and the seminal vesicle duct join together and form the ejaculatory duct that opens into prostatic part of urethra through the prostate gland. The seminal vesicle is about 5 cm in length. Coming to the ejaculatory duct. There are two ejaculatory ducts. Each one is 2.5 cm long. They are formed by the union of vas deferens and the duct of seminal vesicle. The ejaculatory duct pierces the prostate gland and opens into prostatic part of urethra. This is the seminal vesicle and here is the vas deferens. Both join together and form the ejaculatory duct that opens into prostatic part of urethra. Coming to the prostate. Prostate is an unpaired accessory structure of male reproductive system. It surrounds the urethra in the pelvic cavity. It lies immediately inferior to the bladder, posterior to the pubic symphysis and anterior to the rectum. Here you can see this is the bladder. It lies just below the base of the bladder and it surrounds the urethra. That part of urethra is called the prostatic urethra. The prostate is shaped like an inverted rounded cone with a larger base. It is continuous above with the neck of the bladder and a narrower apex which rests below on the pelvic floor. The inferior lateral surfaces of prostate are in contact with the levator ani muscle. So this is the shape of prostate. It is named as inverted rounded cone shape. It has a large base. This is the base of the rounded cone, and this is the apex of the prostate of the cone, and the large base is in contact with the neck of the bladder. This is the bladder, and here comes the bladder neck, and the narrower apex is rest on the pelvic floor. Then the inferior lateral aspect is in contact with the levator ani muscles. The two ejaculatory ducts pierce the upper part of prostate to open into prostatic urethra at the lateral margin of the prostatic utricle. Inside the prostate, there is prostatic utricle where the ejaculatory duct opens into prostatic part of urethra. The ejaculatory duct passes through or it pierces the prostate gland to enter into the prostatic part of urethra at the lateral margin of prostatic utricle. That is a space, or that is the area where ejaculatory duct opens into prostatic urethra. About the relations of prostate. Superiorly and inferiorly we can see. Superiorly, the base of the prostate is continuous with the neck of the bladder. The urethra enters the center of the base of the prostate. Inferiorly, the apex of the prostate is seen and it lies on the upper surface of urogenital diaphragm. The urethra leaves the prostate just above the apex on the anterior surface. About its anterior relation, anteriorly it is related to symphysis pubis. Laterally, it is embraced by anterior fibers of levator ani. On either side of the prostate, levator ani muscle is seen. Posteriorly, it is related to rectal ampulla. Again, the prostate is enclosed within a thin, dense fibrous capsule. Also, it has a inner loose sheath derived from pelvic fascia, and that is called as prostatic sheath. So it has a fibrous capsule and it has a prostatic sheath. The prostatic venous plexus lie between fibrous capsule and prostatic sheath. Anatomically, the prostate is divided into different lobes. There are two lateral lobes, one median lobe and one anterior lobe and another posterior lobe. Here you can see two lateral lobes. This is the anterior lobe. Here you can see another medial lobe and this is the posterior lobe. Anterior lobes two, one median lobe, one posterior lobe and one anterior lobe and one posterior lobe. About the anterior lobe, it is a tissue lying anterior to the urethra. There are no glands, only fibromuscular tissue can be seen. The median lobe, it is a cone-shaped region between ejaculatory duct and the urethra. There are two lateral lobes, left and right. It is the main mass of the gland. It continues posteriorly and it is separated by prostatic urethra. About the posterior lobe, it describes posterior medial part of lateral lobe palpable through the ductum on DRE. Once again about the lobes, two lateral lobe, anterior lobe, median lobe and a posterior lobe. This is the prostatic capsule. Below there is sheath of prostate. About the blood supply of prostate, the arterial supply, the arteries are derived from internal pudendal, inferior vesicle and middle rectal artery. These are branches of internal iliac. About the venous drainage, the veins form prostatic venous plexus around sides and base of prostate. That is located between capsule and the sheath, which we have seen already. Then it drains into internal iliac vein. About the lymphatic drainage, the lymph vessels terminate in internal iliac and sacral lymph nodes. Innervation, parasympathetic fibers arise from pelvic splanchnic nerve and sympathetic fibers from inferior hypogastric plexus. The another structure in the male reproductive system is penis, about which also there is not mentioned in the syllabus. It is a pendulous organ suspended from the front and the sides of pubic arch, and it contains greater part of urethra. This is the penis suspended from either side of pubic arch. About the structure of penis, it has a root, shaft and glans. Root is a portion of the penis that extends internally into pelvic cavity. Shaft, the length of the penis between glans and the body. The glans is the head of the penis. The foreskin, it is the covering of the skin on the penile glands. Here you can see the urethral opening. This is the glans, and this is the glans, and this is the foreskin. This is the penile part of urethra. Here you can see the spongy body, and here you can see the cavernous body, and this is called the crura that form the root of the penis, and here is the shaft of the penis. This discussion ends here. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share with your friends.